Really quick before I start this narration, I'm going to spend about 2 minutes talking about, who I am and whatnot. So if you're not the type of viewer who likes to listen to nonsense, then feel free to skip to about 2 minutes into this video. That's when the actual battle starts. So yeah, have fun watching, guys. Hello everyone, it is me, GoodwillBBQ, bringing you another Black and White 2 OU battle. This is a battle I had against Ayotechnology on Pokemon Showdown. Let me start off by saying thank you to everyone who saw my last video and left comments and feedback telling me, how I can improve. This is actually my second upload. Last time, people were telling me to be a little bit more lively in my narrations, which I've tried to do. I'm still a pretty laid-back person, so it's not generally how I talk. So there's a lot of stuff like, be a little bit more lively. Someone called me a fag for using Reddit, which was also very helpful and great. Thank you, whoever that was. So anyways, let's get into the team preview. My team is a toxic stalling team that I shamelessly stole the core from a Smogan thread talking about underrated OU cores, which is basically Curum and sub-roosting Curum and Toxic Spike's Tentacruel. I figured Landorus Therian would make a pretty cool partner for this core, mainly for gravity, to be able to spam Earthquakes and Curum's Earth powers, and as well as abusing the spikes and toxics damage on levitating and flying type Pokemons. So yeah, that's the gist of it. My opponent's team looks like, hyper offensive with Deoxys lead. So my main goals, thankfully he doesn't have a spin blocker or a rapid spinner. So once I set up my hazards, I think I'm pretty good. But as you will see, that is not how the battle turns out. So, without further ado, let us begin. So, my first priority is to get at my Toxic Spikes, because this is a Toxic Stalling team. And so I lead with my Tentacruel as he leads with his Keldeo. I know these can carry HP Electric, but I'm not really afraid of it. So, I get to set up my first layer of Toxic Spikes as he brings in Deoxys. I could, keep going for Toxic Spikes, but I decided I want to cripple this, so I go into my Rotom. And I trick him a Scarf as he goes for Spikes. So now he's locked into Spikes, and I'm going to Volt Switch just in case he wants to, switch out or whatever. And I go right into my Tentacruel. So I think this turn I go for another layer of Toxic Spikes to actually get, my full Toxic Stalling thingy going. And I could Rapid Spin here, but I'm afraid of the Earthquake. So I go to my Rotom. And it turns out he T-Waves me, so this is, probably one of those it is a para shuffling Dragonite. So I go for Volt Switch, and I notice I'm faster, so obviously he must have gone for Dragon Tail. So I go into my Ferrothorn, so he will take Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet Recoil. But he misses, unfortunately, and that means I'm able to get a Leech Seed off, which sucks for him because that breaks his multi-scale. But he hits me with a second Dragon Tail and brings me right back into my Rotom Wash, which after my leftovers and or his leftovers and my Leech Seed recovery, it brings me back to a decent amount of health. I figure he's gonna want to switch out, so I just go for Hydro Pump, hoping to maybe hit a Conkeldurr or Garchomp. But he brings in Deoxys Defense. I don't know what he's gonna want to do, but I go into my Tentacruel because I'm expecting to be able to spin away the hazards. As he goes for Seismic Toss, so he's locked into Seismic Toss. So I'm just gonna go for my Rapid Spin now to get rid of all these hazards because these are scary. So this turn, I'm going to go for the Ice Beam because he doesn't know I have it yet. And I'm hoping he's going to use like Dragon Tail or something. But he switches out. I don't know what he's probably waiting for me to switch into my Rotom or Landorus or something. But he brings in his Keldeo as I go for a Scald. I really don't care about this Tentacruel at this point, which is poor play on my part. Let me tell you what, I should have saved this Tentacruel. So I keep going for Scalds. And so, he doesn't want his Keldeo to die just yet, so he brings back his Deoxys, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm just going to kill this thing with the Scald. As he goes for Recover, and at this point I'm like, oh, no. He wants to save his Deoxys and get more hazards up, so I need to keep my Tentacruel alive. I didn't expect him to go for a second Recover, so I went for Ice Beam, expecting him to switch after the first one. But he switches out, and I switch out hoping... I switch out into my Landorus because I was afraid he was going to go into a physical attacker because he hasn't brought any of those in yet. As he goes into his Keldeo, I'm scared of it. and I thought my Tentacruel would be able to take whatever attack it went for better. Since I don't want my Tentacruel to die just yet, I go back into my Rotom, who I honestly thought would take this a lot better. I don't know if it's a specs, it might be. I thought most Kildails were Scarfed, but you know, I'm really bad at being able to tell. So he keeps going for Surfs, and I'm going to be able to break through the confusion and kill him with the Volt Switch. And after the Volt Switch, I go into my Tentacruel just purely for the after turn leftovers recovery. As he brings in his Latios, I don't want to lose my Tentacruel, so I go into my Rotom, who I Death Fodder to his Dragon Pulse this turn. On my free switch in, I bring in my Ferrothorn to Leech Seed his Latios. So I go for Leech Seed, but he switches out and I miss anyway, which I'm not too upset about, I don't really care. And so I go for Leech Seed as he goes for Stealth Rocks. Clearly he's not going to want to stay in here and keep going for Stealth Rocks, so I have no problem with going for Leech Seed again, as he brings in his Garchomp. I can't afford to let this thing, set up with sub SD or whatever else they do, so I go for a Gyro Ball this turn. Hoping to kill it. I barely don't, but thank God I got that Leech Seed because it healed me, that valuable 1%, and I'm back to a reasonable amount of health to die to his incoming Latios' Dragon Pulse. Okay, well, I die to the next Dragon Pulse, I think. Oh no, oh crap, this is where the battle gets good. So, he brings in his Latios, and I didn't really care what this thing was going to do at the time, which was poor on my part, because I didn't think this thing was going to set up like this. So he goes, I know I should expect Call Line from Latios, but this set ruined me. So he sets up Calm Minds, and I go into my Tentacruel, hoping that he'll be greedy and start setting up more Calm Minds so I can go for a Rapid Spin. But he kills me off with the Dragon Pulse. So on my free switch in, I bring in my Landorus, who has a little bit of speed investment. It's an offensive, defensive Landorus, more bulky. And I go for a U-turn, I don't kill it, which scares me. So I have to bring my Ferrothorn as Death Fodder. So on my next free switch in, I have to again go to my Landorus and just keep going for U-turns. I know this U-turn isn't going to kill, so something else is going to have to take a +2 Dragon Pulse. And the only thing that has any special bulk is my Dragonite. So I bring him in, and of course he doesn't live. Screw you, Dragonite. Fuck you. So I bring in my Landorus, and I'm hoping to kill it this time with a U-turn, but he switches out. He goes into his Conkeldurr. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get the Intimidate off. So, because I got the Intimidate on the other Pokemon. So I have to bring in my Kyurem. I was hoping he was going to go for Bulk Ups this turn. So I try and go for Sub, but he hits me with a Mach Punch, and I'm not able to get my Sub up. So now, after that building an entire team around sub-roosting Kyurem, I have to let it die to a Conkeldurr. So my last Pokemon, look at this, he has 4 left, and I have 1 at half health. So I bring in my Landorus, and I think I just go for Earthquake, probably, or U-turn. Oh no, this is the turn I go for Gravity. So my only hope is to use Gravity, because that way his Pokemon, his Levitator and his Flying type are vulnerable to the Spikes damage and vulnerable to the Toxic Spikes damage. So go for Gravity. As his Deoxys dies, he brings in his Conkeldurr, and he goes for Mach Punch. It does a little bit to me. I go for Earthquake and I kill it. He brings in his Dragonite, and the most crucial thing happens. I hit my Stone Edge. If that didn't happen, this would have been game over, because he would have killed me with whatever attack he wanted to go for, probably Outrage, and then his Latios wouldn't even need to come in and die to the Spikes. So thank goodness for Gravity Landorus, the fucking beast of this. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video and you like my laid-back narration, please feel free to check out my channel. And as always, leave a positive or negative comment below, and have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.